So yeah, today, Wednesday, January 3, 2018. In 4 days it will be Sunday, January 7. And my prediction is kind of inspired by this book by R.L. Stine. And it's for twin signs in the weather, or twin natural events, on this coming Sunday, the 7th of January 2018, that will act as a warning sign for Tropical Cyclone Irving. And I think Irving is going to be the big cyclone of this season for Australia. And that's if I'm to trust the information that's been handed to me by Jacob Wetzling and Nathan Breeze. Then Irving is going to be a noteworthy cyclone. Of course, they could be tricking me. It could be like there's going to be twin cyclones, Irving and Joyce. That is a possibility. These are boys who like practical jokes and riddles, so don't forget that. And always take that into account. Twin volcanoes could be something else. Could be twin bushfires, I don't know. Nathan lost his life in a bushfire. But I know there's something in this because, well, I could go into why I know, how I know, nah, I'm not going to. I'm just going to play the 10-minute briefing. Because the weather is really crazy at the moment. It's storms, there's heat coming, and overseas in America, it is freezing. Absolutely freezing. So let's see what's happening.
Center. This is the 10-minute briefing.
Here on Sky News Weather, this is the 10-minute briefing. I'm Shelley Lee, and this is our meteorologist Kristen Myers. And there's heaps going on in weather across Australia and the world today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Shelley. Yes, we're going to be talking about storms, heat, and then what's happening overseas, cold temperatures and windy conditions across much of the United States as well as the UK. So let's just get straight into it, Shelley.
We're going to show you what you shouldn't do in a Mini Cooper as well. I'm quite excited to show you that.
Absolutely. Let's start with the current temperatures right around the nation here. It's hot in Port Hedland. It's reached over 41 degrees today. Milder day in Perth at 29 degrees. And we've had some storm development in southeast Queensland. Speaking of which, severe storm warning still extending throughout northeast New South Wales into southeast Queensland as far to the north as the Bundaberg area. Now there's a detailed warning for storms moving towards the Gympie area, probably by about 4:20 p.m. That is a supercell thunderstorm, and it is rotating. We also have some storms forming inland of Cairns right there. On the sea breeze front, actually, they're producing some heavy rainfall. There is no warning out for those. And I should mention there's a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern parts of the top end around the Arnhem District.
As if we haven't had enough storms, but it's meant to be the last day of this intense weather, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now, but it has been a particularly intense day, hasn't it, so far?
Absolutely. Plenty of hail about. Now, speaking of intense, the heat we're going to see shortly in southern parts of Australia is going to be scorching.
I know, it's 40. We'll get into that in a second. You know, over 40 degree heat. Let's take a look first at some storms that we've been seeing today, though, in southeast Queensland. I mean, here's some vision of hail. Now, this is some of the smaller hail actually that we saw at Toogoolwa, and this is about 1 centimeter or 2 in diameter. This is large amounts of hail around Ipswich region and the Toogoolwa region yet again. But we've seen golf ball-sized hail reported at Mount Tarampa. And also 3 centimeter to 2 centimeter hail. I love this photo.
I love that gnome. It just looks like he's playing in the snow.
Yes, it's. But of course, this hail can damage your cars, and it's a good idea to move your car undercover if you're in the line of these storms.
Could crack your gnome.
Could crack your gnome. You don't want to crack the gnome.
Crack it.
Either or.
Okay, let's talk about the heat.
Let's talk about the storm forecast, because I want to forecast these storms. We've been talking about basically how hot it's. Well, we've been talking about these storms over the last few days, and finally, this is the last day of the storms for you in southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales. Today, we had those supercell storms. They're kind of starting to dissipate. They are moving further to the north now, and that's it. We just have a few showers on the coast tomorrow, so that's it for the storms after this evening. They'll go for about a week.
Okay.
There we go.
Can we talk about the heat now?
We can finally talk about the heat. You care about the heat so much.
Storms.
I know.
We've seen so much, you know. A pub I like, the Clarence lost its roof the other day, so yesterday, heat time.
Heat time. From storms to heat. It's going to get hot, isn't it? Now, right now, you know, forecasts are subject to change. They change 2 to 3 times a day, so just recheck them. But, I mean, it's looking like the hottest in about 2 years. Western Sydney, 45 degrees.
On Sunday.
On Sunday, yes. Saturday, is where it's going to be hot in Victoria, South Australia, and Tasmania, where temperatures in Victoria and South Australia are going to be well above 40 degrees, including Melbourne, hottest in 2 years, Geelong, we're 40 degrees there, hottest in 2 years, and Launceston, actually the hottest in 2 years as well, in the mid-30s.
Yeah, absolutely. A scorcher for them, and we're going to see big drops in temperatures as well as a cool change moves through.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at that temperature forecast, because we do see that these northerly winds are coming from the interior. They're bringing all of that dry heat down to the south, and like you said, later on Saturday and into Sunday, we do have a cool change that's going to be rolling through, bringing a staggering drop in temperatures in the order of 15 to 20 degrees. Now, ahead of that, that fire danger is set to rise. It looks like a particularly dangerous fire weather day across Tasmania, Victoria, and South Australia. Severe to extreme fire danger throughout much of Victoria and South Australia.
So now is the time to get your bushfire survival plans ready if you are in those areas. Let's plan ahead so you can actually make the most of the heat and not need to worry about it at the time. Now, we're going to go away for 60 seconds. We'll be right back here on the 10-minute briefing with some vision. I'm very excited to show you what you shouldn't be doing in a Mini Cooper when there are severe storms near you. We're going to check out Storm Eleanor. We're going to check out the snow in the United States. And we're going to let you know about a very intense low-pressure system making its way towards New Zealand's North Island. Be right back.
So, yeah, maybe 45 degrees in Western Sydney on Sunday. Maybe that's what Jake and Nathan meant. Maybe they just meant that it's going to get so hot that it's going to be like you're in a volcano in Penrith. Yeah, that makes sense. That could be what they mean. I mean, I do know a boy who's turning 15 this coming Sunday, and last time I saw him, he did tell me that he was doing an assignment on volcanoes. But I guess that doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be volcanoes on his birthday. But it does make sense, you have to admit.
You're on the 10-minute briefing on Sky News Weather. Now, this is what you should not do in a Mini Cooper. Watch that. Oh, copping the wave of water. This is in Northern Ireland, where tens of thousands of homes are without power. We've also got thousands of homes without power in Britain, as well as Storm Eleanor has hit those regions with winds up to 130 kilometres per hour.
Certainly sounds like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely sounds like it. We've got amber warnings in place for parts of Wales, Scotland, Britain, Northern Ireland, covering all of those in place on Wednesday evening, and we are expecting to see that intense weather continue as well, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. It's big low. They call them. They name their low pressure systems in the UK. This one storms Eleanor, and it's bringing just terrible winter weather across the UK.
The fifth storm to score a name this season.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Little tidbit there. Now, from one type of storm to another, and we've got a nor'easter making its way into the northeast of North America.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very cold there over the next few days, but gee, it's already been pretty cold recently as well. Take a look at this.
Who needs a thermometer to answer the age-old question, how cold is it? Cold enough for the Calgary Zoo to temporarily bring its penguins indoors before letting them out again. Cold enough to freeze a shark. At least 3 of them were found washed up on Cape Cod, likely stranded due to cold shock, noted the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy. They had to be thawed to be autopsied. A true sharksicle. How cold is it? Not cold enough at 6 below to deter a guy dressed as a banana from water skiing on the Mississippi, but definitely cold enough to generate internet memes. I'm not going outside until the temperature is above my age. Remember this trick from previous cold snaps? Turning boiling water instantly into snow is so last year. This is the year of
frozen bubbles.
Craig Bain created a perfect specimen at a temperature of minus 31 degrees Fahrenheit. In Saskatchewan, Canada, it has all the allure of a fragile homemade snow globe with over 4 million views.
It's crazy.
There's pretty much one basic recipe for making ice bubbles, and it doesn't involve using that store-bought bubble-blowing stuff. Another Canadian who has helped whip up #Bubble Madness recommends warm water, corn syrup, dishwashing soap, and sugar. The corn syrup, what does it do?
It basically hardens it, gives it a little bit of structure, otherwise they just blow away.
And if you really want a snow globe effect, add a Christmas tree, So when the temperatures dip, just dip your straw and
Start blowing.
even penguins love bubbles.
Now, that's absolutely hilarious, but I must say that there's winter storm warnings in effect across northeast of the United States, stretching from Maine, New Hampshire, New York. There's a big nor'easter on the way, and there's still a lot of uncertainty about it, but it looks to just cause a lot of chaos. That's going to be happening really over tomorrow and the next few days. That system is going to be developing and bringing widespread bad winter weather to the East Coast.
Speaking of bad weather, the North Island of New Zealand is going to get a whole heap of it as we look ahead to Thursday there.
Absolutely. Now, tomorrow looks to be a particularly bad day for the North Island of New Zealand. On screen, you see the satellite imagery, and there is a trough which is deepening and turning into a low. That's that big cloud cover that's all of a sudden enveloping the North Island. And here's a forecast. Heavy rain and gales starting over the North Island tomorrow morning, extending to Auckland by midday. We're going to see rainfall totals over 150 millimeters, stretching from the North Island south to Mount Taranaki and to Nelson region, and Bay of Plenty also looking to cop it as well. It is going to be absolutely intense on Thursday. It's going to be disrupting your travel plans, so just be aware of that situation across there, and by Friday it's going to be moving to the South Island.
This is the same trough that brought the storms to southeast Queensland, but it deepened.
Yeah, that's right. We had cold air in the upper atmosphere that moved over this trough as it was offshore, and it rapidly deepened it, forming a low-pressure system, and that has now just intensified, or it's going to be intensifying and just smashing New Zealand.
So much worse over there than what we've seen here with all of the storm damage we have seen here in northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. Well, first of all, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening around the country tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll start on what's happening in Queensland because that storm outbreak is no more. Except for inland areas, they could see a storm around Roma, Longreach.
Wow, there's so much happening. That's crazy. It sounds like, I read up on the American situation with that big nor'easter that's coming. That's full on. And, they're not quite sure where the really intense snow is going to be yet, because it's very hard to predict exactly where the really heavy snow will fall. But it's going to be somewhere.
Be up in just a few seconds to give you an update on the severe thunderstorms across southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales. So see you soon.
See you very soon.
Yeah, cool. So that's what's happening. So much happening, we don't even need any more predictions. I wouldn't think. The weather's just crazy these days. It's nuts. It's mad.